What's up, fam? Hope everybody's doing fantastic out there. Today we're taking a look at a very interesting knife from Spartan Blades, and this is part of their field grade line. So this is their imported line coming out of Taiwan. If I had to guess, I'd say these are made in the same factory as the old Cold Steel stuff, aka the same factory as the Demco stuff. It has a very Demco feel to it. I'm not saying that that's definitely not a bad thing. This specific version is not my cup of tea. I'm not a big fan of the G10 carbon fiber laminate stuff, but overall, this is a pretty cool knife and a definite workhorse if you are looking for a knife that kind of bridges that gap between a standard, kind of a imported budget knife and then a more premium knife, something like the Taiwan-made Demco stuff that's in that 150 to and up range. You can get the G10 version of this knife. I've seen it somewhere around $90, so you can certainly get something here that bridges the gap. Now the price of these does range up to $145, which is what the carbon fiber laminate version sells for, from what I can see. So this knife is using the CTS XHP steel, running at 58 to 60. It is on washers as well, so it does have that kind of a just super smooth, kind of slow roll action. You can, with a little bit of authority, push that thing out there, but it's not going to be drop shut on you or anything like that. Now, of course, just like any other washer knife, it will break in. You can smoothen it up, things like that, that you can get it to where it will be a lot more of a drop shut action, but it's never going to be like what you get with a bearing, at least not out of the factory anyway. Some specs on this guy. So I try to get as much information here for you guys as humanly possible. So we're looking at a 3.625 inch overall blade, and they're saying the cutting edge is only 3.5. So I'm guessing they are cutting that a little bit out there. So a 3.5 inch cutting edge. Your height on your blade is anywhere between 1.1 and 1.2 inches, depending on where it's measured from. Then you're looking at a 3.5 millimeter thick blade thickness there. Bladeness, my goodness, I need to go to bed. 4.625 inches on your handle, and then a kind of an average here, you're looking at 1.3, 1.4 inches on your handle thickness or handle height, and then your actual thickness is 0.54 to 0.74, so just over a half an inch to right at 3/4 of an inch there on your thickness with your pocket clip. Overall, looking at 8.25 inches on your overall length, and then it does weigh 5.1 ounces. So, again, a pretty beefy knife. This is certainly a workhorse, like I said before. One that's I would not be afraid to really put in some work. It is a Les George design, so it does have some tactical goodness to it as well. But it does fit the hand, and at least it fits my hand. Even for a larger knife, it fits my hand really, really well. Feels robust. I mean, it's a great made knife. It really, really is. Let's go ahead and jump into our close-ups here, and then we will go from there. So here you can see that G10 and carbon fiber laminate there. Again, not my favorite look. It does it does have decent grip, so no real issues there. Standard stuff as far as all of your hardware goes. We do have a reversible clip. We do have lanyard love. It looks like T6 and T8 hardware. Open pillar construction. Standard folded steel pocket clip is a little on the shorter side. Does provide plenty of retention. Nothing really to write home about here. Perfectly centered, and our tip it's a little bit of an off grind there. You can see that. So we have a little bit of an off grind towards the show side. So you can see that does have a steeper grind there on that show side. Go into our lockup here. Lockup is spot on. No issues with lockup. It is a liner lock, steel liner lock. Plenty of access to the liner. No issues there. The weight on the lock is pretty good. It's not hard to unlock or anything like that, so no real issues there. Typical Les George thumb stud, so it looks very similar to things that you've seen on some of his other knives. We have a swedged drop point here, almost kind of a spear pointy looking blade. Really nice blade shape. Then of course you have that massive jimping there on this back of the knife, and your CTS XHP branding, as well as the Spartan Blades branding. Coming around here on the back side, you have the Les George branding. Have a really nice plunge grind. Quite honestly, it's a great plunge grind, but we don't have a ton of sharpening choil, but you've got plenty of room for sharpening there. No real issues, and here you can see a little bit better on this side. Sharpening itself looks to be really nicely done. It's just I do know we have a off grind here on the tip. So it looks like we can see it here. So we can see a little bit more of a tall grind there, and then a little more of a shallow grind here. So no big deal, but the sharpening is great. I mean, this thing is really sharp. It's fairly thick behind the edge, so it's not going to be the sliciest thing in the world, but it's sharp enough that it's going to handle work. And then the edge geometry, it's going to hold up well over time. So nothing really to concern yourself with there at all. Again, ergonomics are great on the knife. It feels really good in hand. It feels really secure. The jimping is thick and robust. I mean, like I said, it's just a knife that is built to put in some work, and it's definitely sized right for that as well. Like I said, it will really break in over time, but you can already see, I can already see just in the time that I've handled it, it has slowly started breaking in. This knife is on loan, so it hasn't had a ton of work put in on it, but I feel like I could probably get it to smoothen up quite a bit with just a little bit of polishing or something on those washers. It does have the, I can't think of the name of them, but it has the white washers in there, nylon washers. I know they have a fancy name I can never remember, but all in all, it seems to be a really well-built knife. But if it's made in the same factory as Demco and Ocaso, which I believe it is, then the build quality is really never in question. So those guys do a great job with their heat treats and everything as well. So I really don't have any real issues with the knife and where it's being built. So really interested to know what you guys think on this knife. It's a cool looking knife, honestly. I think it looks great. It's definitely a Les George. That is T20. I'm guessing. Let's check our T6s really quick here. Extremely good tooling here on our T6s. Let's check the one on our thumb stud. Very nice. Now wait a minute. If you guys watched my video that I did on the Talos, the Defiant 7 Talos, the thumb studs were different thicknesses. And one was, I thought it was because of the screw was on one of them, but this one has a screw on it, and they're the same size. All right, Les, what are you doing to me, man? Let's see. Let's try this T15 here. Yeah, T15. So really nice job on that. No issues there. Grabbing hold of the screwdriver. All right, let's jump in to our size comparisons. This thing is going to dwarf most of what we're looking at, being that it is over an 8-inch blade at 8 1/4. So it will work well with our larger knives. There we are with the Penguin and the Pyrite. Then we have the Drop Bear. And then the Militall. Bel Air. And the Malibu. Should have grabbed my Talos to do a size comparison on it, but there we have the PM2, which is going to be very similar size there. Not much of a difference at all. And then the first one that's going to be larger, which is the MSI. So yeah, like I said, I'm really interested to know what you fine folks out there in YouTube land think of this knife. Is it one that catches your eye? Like I said, I'm sorry. Yeah, this one, they do offer a green G10, which I think is the nicer variant to have. I got to handle it at Smoky Mountain. The G10 does have a different feel to it as well, so just keep that in mind. And yeah, let me know what y'all think in the comments down below. As always, I appreciate each and every one of you. Please remember to be kind, be humble, and be EDC. Y'all take care.